Our friends Matt and Kathy headed back to California. They've got 2 days of driving ahead of them. Had a great time with them. Always glad to see them here. Alright, we sent Matt and Kathy on their way back to California. So now we're headed into town. Ramona's going to spend some time with her great-grandmother today, my mom. They're going to play bingo. They're doing all kinds of activities. They're making stuff with beads. And she's looking forward to going in and spending some time with her. Mom's going to enjoy that time too, of course. And then we'll head back out to the homestead and do a few things out there. Alright, made it back home, and I remember to put my work clothes on. Sometimes I forget to do that and I mess up my better clothes. Let me get you up to speed on a couple things we've been doing. While my buddy Matt was here, we mounted our metal box that we got a while back onto the front of the trailer. So that's nice now. I've got all of my tie-down straps and everything out of the shop. They were always in the way. So got all our straps in there. We need to tidy them all up. But we also got our high lift jack in there. My hopes were the spare tire would fit in there, but it does not fit. It's just a little bit too high. So that's going to have to continue to be kept in the truck. Now the other thing we had to change, if you look down here, that's where the old jack was. That's the swivel peg there. So the old jack was in the way of where the box was going, so we picked up a new jack at Tractor Supply that mounts in the tongue, which is what this trailer is supposed to have. It had the receiver for this hitch. Now what's really cool, and I've never seen one of these hitches before, is where it's got a drop feature to where once the tension's off the jack, you can flip this handle and the whole jack picks up. So you can get it out of the way without cranking it for hours. And a lot of times when you're putting it down, you can pull that pin and put it down most of the way, so it doesn't take very long to get it off the truck. You're not having to put it on blocks and all that other stuff. So that's super cool, and I love that. And I have another trailer I may put that on. The other thing I got to do is I got to get some paint on this bare metal that we made the other day. And then I also need to put a latch on our lid, because there's no latch on it right now. I mean, it's heavy enough to where it's probably not going to blow open, but we want something just in case. And then I also want to put a chain, because right now this lid flips clear over the back, and I want it to go to about this far with a chain and stop. But gonna love this box on the trailer. It's gonna work out great. Now I've been needing to do weed spray here on the homestead forever, but anybody that knows anything about Nebraska, getting a day where there's no wind or rain is kind of tough, because you either have one or the other. So been waiting for a calm day, because I can't have that weed spray drifting all over the place. So I thought this morning was the morning, but didn't work out yet again. Now I got to pick up some parts for another project that we're going to do a video on, but I don't want to make a special trip into town, so we'll pick those up when we go pick up Ramona, and we'll do a video on that project because it's video worthy. We have a leaking frost-proof hose bib on the house that needs rebuilding, and that's a good thing to know. So I'm kind of freed up to do kind of what I want to do. Kelly's got her own thing going on around the house here today. She's home. But I'm free to do something that I want to do. So I thought, why not do something fun? Let's build one of them sewing machine tractors. That'd be a fun project. Got to clean off our work welding table here. And remember when I told you I wasn't going to take on any more projects until I started finishing some of the ones I've already got going? Too late. My buddy Matt brought me this Maytag washing machine with the wringer and the motor. And the motor is free. It's not frozen. So I need you to vote on this, folks. Should we bring this washing machine back to working order with this motor, or should I let Kelly turn this into a planter and use the Maytag motor for some other cool purpose? So let me know in the comments what we need to do. Do you want to see a restoration of a Maytag washing machine complete with the wringer, or would you rather see this as a planter for Kelly and we repurpose the motor? Let me know in the comments. Here's the two old sewing machines we picked up at Jaunt for this purpose. Got them super cheap, and we're just going to use one of these today. I think I want to use this one because I got some ideas, and we'll save this one for another build. So let's get a few more parts together. The other thing I'm going to use, one of the parts, is one of these old traveling sprinklers. Don't be alarmed that we're tearing this thing up, because this is one of the newer ones with all the plastic gears, and the gears are stripped and it no longer travels. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these cool steel wheels off of it, and we might even use this front wheel assembly that usually follows the garden hose wherever you put it. We may use that for our tricycle wheel on our tractor, but maybe not. So let's start tearing this thing apart, and we'll get into this project. Get the front tricycle gear off. This thing's just held together by these old compression washers like my old Tonka trucks were. So you just pull those off and things come right apart. Let's take the rear axle off now. Got the rear axle loose. It just had a couple 3/8 set screws. Now I'm thinking maybe we'll use this actual axle housing for the axle on the tractor here. So I think we're just going to cut this loose, retain this part. This part of the sprinkler actually works fine. The spray wands and all that. You never know. We might make just a freestanding sprinkler out of this at some point. Take all these gears and stuff out of there and build a base for this thing and just make a regular sprinkler out of it. We pulled the screws out of the old hose bib, so that comes off. So we'll cut this right here with our little 4.5 inch cutter. Retain our little axle. Got our little axle receiver piece off, and I thought, while I have this thing chucked up in the vise, I'll go ahead and I'll cut across here right above where our hose mounts. Take this gear piece off of here because it wouldn't need to be on there later, and then take this whole assembly off so we can make this more usable later. Okay, we got that piece cut off, so we just have this square mechanism here that works just fine, and then our hose bib will bolt right back onto the bottom of it. All we have to do is weld a plate to this, or weld some kind of legs on it, and still work as a sprinkler. So we got most of our parts harvested off of the old sprinkler. Going to use these old metal wheels and this front deal. So now we need to put our sewing machine on a diet here. So this is going to kind of act as the steering wheel here. We'll leave this in place, but we don't need a lot of this decking. And this old winder, I don't know what this was for. Maybe this turned the machine, or this was a winder for maybe winding bobbins. But it looks like this actually drove the machine with its belt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this motor off of here, and we're going to use it for like the motor of the tractor up here underneath. So let's get to cutting this thing apart. Got the old winding motor off just with a couple screws. I just put the screws back in there for now. Now it appears this whole platform comes off here with just the removal of a couple screws from the main body. However, there is a connection underneath here that connects to this here, so we'll have to pull this connection off, and then I think this whole platform will come off of the main sewing machine. Well, that was a real chore getting all the parts out from underneath this thing. There was a load of parts. You can see all the parts over here. And then these 3 screws were a bear. They would not come loose. So we applied a little heat persuasion. Finally got them tapped out of there, tapped loose. So now I think we can get this base off and start trimming it up a bit. Okay, a little tappy tap and it came right off. So we're going to use these 3 existing mounting holes, and then we're going to use the back of this for like the work platform of the tractor. But we're probably from about here forward, we're going to cut this off so there's nothing on the front. And then we'll probably have to trim some of these tabs off underneath here. And I think we need to take a little bit off the sides so we're not so wide for our wheels over there. So let's get to trimming this thing up. All right, got our platform cut down. You can kind of get a visual of what we're going for now. And then this little piece that I left on our little axle tubing, I think we're going to weld straight down to our rear platform here. So that'll be a good fit. And then we can trim down our front wheel to whatever ride height we want on our tractor. But I think you're getting the idea. Looking at the back of our sewing machine here, we have a wider piece on this side than we do on this side. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut our platform down to where we're the same width here. And then this is going to go right here on the back, depending on which side, which way it looks better. I think it'll look better that direction. So we'll address that right now. Now we're even on both sides. We're directly center. So now we'll figure out the placement of our rear axle housing, and we'll get that welded on. Got our rear axle and housing welded on there at the correct height that we wanted. And then now we got to get the ride height of the front. Looks kind of cool dipped down like that, but I think we're going to raise it to where we're level, and then that'll determine where we're going to cut this off. Now I don't think there's a place that I could drill a hole to just run that spindle into. That way the front wheel turns, but we'll probably just weld that solid. The wheel will still turn, but there won't be any steering per se. So we figured something out. I found this bell reducer in my plumbing parts that fit right over that shaft. And then I got a nut that went inside the big portion of the bell reducer, but will not go through the bottom part. And then we welded that nut to the shaft, so now the shaft can't fall out, but it will let the wheel turn this way. So the wheel's not only going to rotate, it's going to turn. So we'll weld this bell reducer right to the bottom right here. All right, we got the front end on. So now we have a tractor that actually steers, and if you lift up on the front, it's not going to fall out. So that's cool. I'm going to tighten up these wheels on the rear axles. We may need to provide some spacers to keep them where we want them. We will just put some flat washers on here, and then we can tack weld the flat washers to the axle itself to keep it centered. And then our wheels here have set screws on them. Got our set screws back in the holes that they have in the shaft, and then we tack welded washers on either side of the axle housing so it doesn't move around. So we can still roll and our tires stay where we need them. So, what's next? I believe I'll fix this front axle to where it does not come out, because right now it just slides out and it's too long on that one side. So we'll probably put a washer on there, tack it real good all the way around, and then cut the excess shaft off of there. So looking pretty good. Looking like a tractor yet? I think so. So we're going to add a few things. We'll make a seat that goes on here. Probably an exhaust pipe. I think this will do as a radiator cap here, but we may do like a fuel tank cap here. And then remember, we still got to put our motor underneath here somewhere. I don't know which direction it's going to go, but we'll figure it out to where that looks like a motor in there. Well, we've been repurposing pieces that we've just taken off of this thing. The brake usually comes off the rear axle, so we use this little lever dealie that we took off the bottom. Just kind of spot welded it to there, made it look like the brakes. And then we got a little gas pedal there. I don't know if you can see it. Just welded it off of this little dealie whopper over there. Pretty cool. I think we're going to use this, another piece for underneath for the drawbar. We'll tack it underneath there. And then I think we might even be able to repurpose this thing into like a hydraulic, like 3-point lift or something here on the back. That'll be cool. Okay, got a little bit more done. We got some fake 3-point arms here. I just used some of the linkages from underneath and used this piece from underneath. Put a drawbar, we put a drop tongue on the drawbar, double tongue. We might even make a pin to go in there. So we've got our gas pedal and our brake over here. Here's what she looks like so far. Got a steering axle. Starting to look like a little tractor. So I checked the time. I got to go pick up Ramona in town real quick. But we'll get back on this thing either tonight or in the morning in this video. So we'll see you then. Well, we got Ramona picked up. Did you have fun with Great Grandma? Mm-hmm. Cool. Got her some Runza chicken strips for the way home. So we're going to head back home. I got the parts that I needed for that other project that we're going to do. But I'm going to wait on that, because I don't want to be without water all night if things go south. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then when I get home, I'll get back on our little tractor project. Okay, back to our little project. Let's mount something for the motor. So this old winder motor, we're going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to cut these brackets off because none of this stuff is cooperating. So we just have the motor, cut this little rubber piece of stuff off, and then we'll make it fit in there. Got the motor mounted in there. Now this kind of looks like an exhaust manifold, so that's what we're going to use it for. I took another little piece that was from the underneath side with a knob on it, make it look like a carburetor. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, what are you doing?
Nothing.
So I noticed also that the foot from the sewing machine kind of looked like the rain cover on the exhaust pipe. So this kind of looks like a fitting on an exhaust pipe. So we're going to probably put that right there and kind of tack weld it to the side of the sewing machine there for our exhaust. There's our exhaust stack. So I'm probably going to cut this spindle off here short for our fuel tank lid. We'll get that cut off. After I cut the spindle off, I just welded a 5/16 nut on there to make for the cap. So now I want to figure out something for a grill up here. Let me see what we have around. So I found this old piece of strong tie strap. So we'll cut these partial holes off the end, and we'll come down and do the same thing, whatever width we need for our grill, I think this might look okay. Okay, got our grill on. What do you think? I like it. So let's think about some headlights up here. See what we got for those. Well, I was going to use these little lever brackets that came off the sewing machine with a carriage bolt welded into the back side here. But this is pot metal and it won't weld. So I'm going to have to find something that's going to hold up. Got the headlights on. I just took some big like 5/8 nuts and welded carriage bolts in them. And then we just tacked them back here in the back. I think that looks pretty cool. So what else do you think we need to do? We're leaving all these little gizmos and levers on here because they look cool. So, oh, we still got to do a seat. And then, should we dress up this side of the motor with something? Let's see what we can figure out here. So this side of the motor usually got like a starter, alternator, distributor, stuff like that. Have this piece that we've cut off of something. I could shorten this up, put it in here like an alternator, or we could put it over here like some kind of starter or something. We'll figure something out for that. We'll find some other gizmos and doodads. We have a few things here and there that we can use. Got this lever looking thing there. And plus we have a whole shop full of stuff that we can do. Another thing that's usually on the right side of the tractor is a drive wheel for outboard power. Put a flat belt on it, so I had an old pulley that even spins. So we mounted that there. So let's finish dressing up the motor here. So we dressed up this side a little bit. We added what looks like an oil filter, the maybe hydraulic lever here, alternator. We had this little doodad thing that we just put in that screw hole. Looks like a pedal or something. And then we put some just little spot welds on the side of the metal, make it look like maybe bolts or something. And then got our headlights on. We put what appears to be an air cleaner over here. And then remember the old carburetor we put on here. So it's dressed up pretty good, I think. All we need left is a seat. So we took a piece of sheet metal that we had left from the wagon, cut a little square out, got our ball peen hammer, and got a piece of wood here that gives a little bit, and you hold this with your ball peen or your pliers and hit it with your ball peen hammer and it stretches the metal. You got to have a pretty good aim. So you can see we got like the front of a seat there. So we'll go through and we'll trim these edges around here, and then we'll have a little tractor seat. Okay, we got our little tractor seat made. Pretty cute, huh? So I think we're going to make our seat spring out of this. We're just going to bend it a little bit, and then it gets tack welded on the bottom of our seat here. All right, folks, got everything put on there. Got our cute little seat put on there. Do a little walk around of our tractor. Got a little 3-point arms. Got the drawbar. Super cool. Got the exhaust manifold with the stack. Little gasoline cap. Headlights. I think it's pretty cool.
Me too, I like it a lot.
You like the tractor?
I like the seat too.
Yeah?
It's cute.
Seat came out pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you folks think? Should I paint this thing up like John Deere green or Farmall red?
Farmall red.
Ramona says Farmall red because Farmall's her tractor. Or should I leave it patinaed like this and then maybe just clean it a little bit and like clear coat it? Keep the old patina to it?
I think you should paint it.
Yeah.
You finished when I finished.
Yeah. We added this little bar to the front that looks like the bar that you hang tractor weights on there. We got our drive wheel here. Little doodads and gizmos that we found from underneath the sewing machine.
How'd you get on it?
That we repurposed. This would be a rear entry tractor, Ramona.
What does that mean?
You would come up here in the back and you'd step on this stuff and climb up in. You wouldn't come into this side. Super cool, I love it.
I also finished.
One last thing before we're done. Gotta have a hitch pin. Super cool. Alrighty, my friends, we are going to call it a day. I'm going to go inside and get washed up and relax a little bit in my favorite chair. So, hope you enjoyed the project today. It was super fun. Really enjoyed that. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. Come back and see us here at Markelly Farm where we're doing all the cool stuff.